Good evening. It's me. Yeah, Pretty Bird. Guess what? I got more story about Elijah. Yeah. Besides, he was a great guy in the kitchen.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah. Because when he was there, the oil never ran out and the bread flour never ran out. He was a great guy in the kitchen. He's also great other places too. What do you see tonight? Here it goes, okay? Remember it was very dry, drought. Yeah. Anyway, for 3 years, yeah, like that long, no rain, no dew fell on the land of Israel. They're getting so used to these bad years, I bet. Just as the prophet Elijah had promised to King Ahab, the rivers dried up to a slow trickle, drip, drip, and then they just disappeared. The fields where the Israelites had grown their food, it became dry and brown. Ugh. There was no grass for the cattle. At least the people began to run out. At last the people began to run out of food that they had saved. Yeah. We got food saved in our house.
Yeah.
Birdseed. But I haven't used it yet.
You don't need to, Pretty Bird. Everything's fine.
Okay. Well, they cried to King Ahab because they were hungry. Yeah, bring it to us, baby. Come on. Now, among Ahab's servants, there was a good man called Obadiah. And once he had even hidden some of the prophets that God, that Queen Jezebel, she wanted to kill. Yeah, he hid him. He's a good guy. I like Obadiah. And while Obadiah was out looking for some water one day, good luck, he saw Elijah on his way to see the king. They just ran into each other. And he ran back to the palace himself to tell Ahab that Elijah was coming. And King Ahab, remember? He had Elijah on the wanted list, top 10 wanted men. Yeah. He blamed him for the trouble his people had suffered during the 3 years without the rain. And actually, it was God who had punished the king and his people. But, he had spoken the words of the curse through Elijah. So Ahab saw Elijah coming towards him, and he called to him, Troubler of Israel. That's a good name. Well, it's not true, but it's a good name. You are the troubler of Israel. And Elijah told the king, you and your wife Jezebel have brought it upon your people by worshiping Baal. Yeah, put the blame where it belongs. And then to prove how foolish it was to worship idol gods, Elijah, here comes a good part, he challenged Ahab to a strange contest. Yeah. Ahab was to command the people to assemble at this place called Mount Carmel. Hey, I know Mount Carmel is the name of a church. That's where they got it from? Okay. Then he was to bring 450 priests of Baal. That's a lot. And 400 priests of Asherah to meet Elijah there. This doesn't sound good. The odds are not looking good. The king agreed to the meeting. So, several days later, the Israelites came together on Mount Carmel. And Elijah stood before the crowd and he said, you have changed back and forth from God to Baal long enough. Today, both of the prophets of Baal and we will call for fire from our God. This isn't going to be good.
Nope.
And the one who sends it will be Lord indeed, whether he be Baal or the Father in heaven. God, I know who's going to win. The people agreed that it was a fair test. Seriously? Okay. Well, 2 oxen were prepared and one was placed on the altar to Baal, but no fire was lit. And then the prophets of Baal stood around their altar. Yeah, like as their team. And they called to their God, like he was their captain, to send fire down upon the altar. "Oh, Baal, answer us!" they cried from morning until noon. They should get sore throats by then. But there was no reply. No wonder. You're praying to the thin air.
Mm-hmm.
"Cry louder!" Elijah called to them. Oh man, now he's egging them on. He's taunting them. "Maybe your God is away on a journey, and maybe he is asleep and you will have to wake him up. Oh, he is so messing with their heads."
Mm-hmm.
Well, the prophets of Baal, who were already tired, became furious when they heard this because they did not know what else to do. They began cutting their bodies with knives until they bled. Oh, this is gross. And while they were chanting their heathen prayers louder and louder, like that was going to make their God notice. Never. By the middle of the afternoon, their altar stood just as it had at the beginning of the day. Nothing happened. No fire had come to burn the sacrifice. Nope. Then the people turned to Elijah, and solemnly he placed 12 stones, one for each tribe, to form an altar. His turn. Then he prepared his oxen for the sacrifice and laid it upon the wood. Next, he called for water. Now, that was scarce enough as it was to find any water. But he called for water, and 3 times he poured it over the altar. This is not fair.
Keep reading.
And the wood, it got wet, and the sacrifice was soaking them wet thoroughly. And then he lifted his eyes towards heaven, and he began to pray. Seriously. "O Lord, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known today that you are the God of Israel, and that I am your servant and will follow your word." Suddenly, like Shazam, the answer came. Flames fell from the sky in fiery sheets that burned up the offering, and the wood that was soaking wet, and the altar, and the stones on which they were laid. Every drop of water around the altar disappeared in the fierce flames. Yep, must have been a steaming vision.
Yep.
The people fell on their faces when they saw the terrifying sight. And the Lord, He is God. The Lord, He is God. They cried over and over. Yep. Then, when this happened, the prophet of Baal, he began to run away. But Elijah called out. What did he call out? "Chicken, chicken, come on back."
No.
He said, "Take the prophets of Baal. Do not let them escape." So the people followed them and killed them at the foot of the mountain. They were running away.
Mm-hmm.
Then Elijah had no more prayer to make. No. He had one more, actually. One more prayer to make on the great day. This time, anybody's praying for? You better say rain. Rain. Yeah. Before Ahab's chariot had even driven him from Mount Carmel back to the palace, the dark clouds rolled in overhead. And the king, he was so surprised. Huge drops began to fall. Kablunk, 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 kablunk. And it had been a victorious day for Elijah and his God. There you go. Talk about triumph.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If only those people would get their heads on straight and believe.
I know.
So, kiddies, you know, snuggle down, pull those covers up, and get ready to go dream about birdies.